In the far future, a gigantic boat named the Turnip helps a province through hyperspace to an obscure objective. The boat makes a speedy refueling break, and on a planet named Takana Prime, space officers Buzz Lightyear and Alicia Hawthorne cross their freshly discovered environmental elements for any assets. Buzz is a loyal officer with a propensity for getting things done all alone and makes mission logs to assist him with centering. Alicia, his dearest companion, derides him for this and has been with him since the early preparation days of the Foundation. She likewise brings along an enlist named Padding Hempstead, who Buzz is not interested in as he feels that he can get things done without the guide of anybody. Not long after gathering the Tenderfoot, the triplet are gone after by living plants and huge flying bugs and rush back to the Turnip Ranch. Buzz holds onto control of the boat and hurries to get it off the planet. In spite of Featherston and Alicia's endeavors to help him in the boat's low elevation, he figures out how to fly the turtle off the ground, though only by a hair, yet it slams into a bluff, making them lose air and crash down in the world with the remainder of their chrysalid combination energy squandered. Buzz offers to have his position stripped, however Alicia encourages him and relegates him another mission to get them off the planet by utilizing the planet's assets to make a new crystallic fuel source. After 1 year, the state has fostered a civilization with plants and bugs being just a minor issue. Another fuel source is made and set to be tried by Buzz himself. Prime Buzz takes off to the sun and figures out how to circle around, yet almost harms the boat's motor, driving him to launch the fuel and sling him back through the well-being loops. He effectively does as such, however after landing, he sees that pilot Passing currently has a facial hair growth when he didn't have one preceding. Diaz uncovers that his excursion made him miss more than 4 years on Takana. Prime Buzz is brought together with Alicia, who is presently his boss, and she welcomes him modern on how his outing is impacted by time and asks that he leave the mission. Buzz moreover discovers that in the mediating years, Alicia met a researcher named Kiko and is currently connected with her, while the state has decided to construct living quarters. Buzz accepts his as well as a little mechanical feline named Socks, who is intended to be his nearby friend. Buzz has a bad dream about his accident and chooses to give Socks a mission to find a reasonable equation for a fuel source. He gets together with Alicia and figures out how to persuade her to let him go again until they track down the right fuel to get off the planet. In the years that Buzz spends going into space and back, he observes Alicia's life fly away with a sense of finality. Her pregnancy, her everyday existence with Kiko, her child's graduation into marriage in her harvest time years. Buzz ultimately gets back to find that Alicia had died, however abandoned a message advising him to proceed with the battle, while likewise uncovering her granddaughter Izzy, who tries to be a space officer. Alicia's office is currently involved by Leader Burnside, who illuminates Buzz that the mission to get off the planet has been dropped and that they will manage by building a laser safeguard, stunning Buzz. Buzz seriously gets back to his living quarters and discovers that Socks figured out how to effectively track down a reasonable recipe for the crystallic motor. Notwithstanding, warriors named Critics show up to decommission Socks, and Buzz insects with him. Socks utilizes his capacity to utilize a sedative dart to move beyond one critic, causing Buzz to understand that Socks was at first intended to keep him in line. Yet again utilizing the equation, they figured out how to make the ideal crystallic combination, yet the PC conveying the data gets obliterated, and Buzz and Socks escape, until they get back onto a spaceship and departure. The critic Buzz gets back to the planet yet finds that things have become considerably more fruitless. He is safeguarded by a trainee from a robot who magically transports itself and hums away. The recruit uncovers herself to be an adult. Buzz has gone more than 22 years into the future, and Izzy uncovers that the robot came from a monster mother transport drifting over the outer layer of the planet, named the Zerg transport. Sometime later that the robots can say Zerk. She likewise uncovers that the robots are encompassing the province, who have set up the laser safeguard and are caught, and that to overcome the robots, they should explode the boat, which they can now do to Buzz since Buzz is a pilot. By and by, Buzz figures out how to incapacitate the robot and unexpectedly puts it down and out by throwing a spear at its head. He discovers that the gathering is really Junior Watch and are not even thought about newbies. Darby is attempting to abbreviate her sentence in the wake of taking a boat, while Izzy, who is knowledgeable in her grandma's life, needs persistence without a boat. Eric illuminates them that they have a neglected shed close by, however has a significant blemish as he can't give a legitimate pathway to it on a guide and becomes diverted with attempting to address himself. Buzz views as his old uniform, however, is trailed by the watch after he incidentally took their keys to the truck. They wind up cautioning the bugs and securing themselves in the evolving rooms. Buzz chooses to have the watch wear different garbs and use covertness mode to escape while he and Socks leave through the spaceship. The arrangement works, however Buzz neglects to let them know that secrecy mode has restricted energy, and the whole gathering is compelled to escape onto the spaceship and fly out of the storage, keeping away from the bugs as well as one more spaceship that attempts to destroy them. Izzy guides the gathering to a close by mining office to get an extra part. The gathering figured out how to find an extra part in the control deck, yet Mo unintentionally sets off a caution, making red cones descend and trap them. Cooperating, they figure out how to obliterate the controls similarly as the control deck severs and almost falls into the mine. The gather assembles and eats sandwiches from a candy machine that, strangely, has the bread inside and the meat outside. The mission Buzz concedes that when he previously showed up at the Foundation, he was quite possibly the most awful officer, however that Alicia saw something in him and pushed him until he became one of the crew's best officers. As the group gets back to the boat, they are gone after by Zurg himself, who is just keen on Buzz and disregards the others. Zurg addresses him and advises him to come, yet the group salvage Buzz and escapes back onto the boat. Zurg sends his followers after the group, and they quickly fly away with Mo and Darcy, utilizing weapons to battle off the robots as they endeavor to fly. Izzy arrogantly delivers the solidified combination, yet they lose it to one of the robots. As Buzz leaves crushed, Zurg shows up once more and catches him prior to vanishing, leaving the group in shock. Buzz is taken to the mothership and stands up to Zurg, yet he stops him. Zurg is uncovered to be a monster suit, and inside it, an older Buzz who likewise kept his variant of Socks and who has marginally decayed uncovers that when he got back to Takana Prime, Burnside quickly showed up to capture him. He kept on going into the future with Socks until he showed up where the innovation had progressed past whatever he might envision utilizing it. Izzy understands that they can utilize the magically transport circles from the robots and transports herself with her Socks. While Mo and Darby battle to stop the approaching robot armed force, Old Socks takes Buzz to the control room and sets a fall-to-pieces clock for 2 minutes, yet Old Buzz returns as Zurg and obliterates Old Socks, compelling Buzz to confront him in battle. Izzy and Socks track down Buzz, yet the quickest way is by leaping out the airtight chamber towards the cockpit as he at last overcomes her apprehensions, and they leap out and arrive at the cockpit. Buzz confesses to exploding the gem, however has acknowledged Connie Prime as his home. With the whole group safe, they are moved toward by the salvage group, alongside an extremely furious Burnside. Burnside condemns Buzz for quite a long time of breaking convention just to praise him on saving the state. Needing to restart the space officer program, he offers any individual from the critics to be a piece of his group, yet Buzz has proactively settled all alone. Buzz in a post-credits scene, Eric at long last guides out the ideal course to take to the shelter just to understand that everybody has previously left. In a subsequent post-credits scene, the Zurg protective layer floats through space after the blast and the eyes of the suit light up, showing he made do. Make sure subscribe, turn on the notification, so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.